Shalom Akim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kadash. Double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Mystery and Real Well, and to the Akim around the four corners of the earth. Shalom, 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 for preaching the words of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai in sincerity and truth, the diligence of mind. Yeah, so you see the title of the news clip from RT. It says 4 reasons U.S. would lose war with Iran. All right, so you already know according to prophecy. Ooh wee, yeah, that's there is no way that America is gonna win because the Lord has already given America her last win in battle. All right, so whatever they're planning over there at the Pentagon or whatever they're planning over there with NATO, it's not going to work this time around. So, America basically has to be sacrificed by these elites. And that's according to the will of the Lord, in order to deliver our people out of, these elites that run the world, these elite Edomites, okay? So their goal is to try to reduce world population and get rid of our people, so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and the so-called Native Americans, on the face of the earth. That's why they have to unleash all their weapons of mass destruction very soon. All right. So right now, you're just dealing with the propaganda and this little drama rona that's going on. So hey, let me just get a quick precept, man, because Babylon is finished, man, and that's America's biblical name, all right, in the Bible. Babylon the Great. Yeah, so I'm going to read a quick precept from the book of Isaiah chapter 47, verse 13. All right, it's all prophecy. Isaiah chapter 47, verse 13, it says, actually, I'll start from verses 1 to 3. Yeah, that's easier. You know what? I read it. Let me start from verse 1. Now jump to verse 3. So it says there, chapter 47, verse 1, Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be tender and delicate. Yeah, so those are years and decades and centuries of America being a prosperous nation, of having a stable economy. Those days are over. All right, that's an atmosphere of everyone's having a nice time. The nation's at full employment, trade surplus, and a budget surplus. So all those days are already over. All right, and then it says in verse 2, Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Yeah, so America is basically in a state of mourning right now. All right, the economy is basically, crumbling. All right, there's nothing that the elites can do to let America, be prosperous. All right, because they see the signs in the heavens, and they know they have to hurry up and cause the chaos to start. Verse 3, Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yes, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. And that's exactly what the Lord is coming to do. All right, upon the face of the earth when he sends his son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. All right, to correct the wrong that these wicked elites of this world have perpetrated against the elect. All right, and the blasphemy they've indulged in. Okay, Then verse 4 says, As for our Redeemer, the Lord Habashim Hashabashim Kakodash. That's about what? The Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Alright, so I jump to verse 13. It says, Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Yeah, so how they're going to start this war with Iran is not easy for them, because once they know they go to full-scale war, that's over. And these so-called politicians and their so-called minions and all these gatekeepers, they know they're going to be held liable, and they're going to be held accountable, by the angry, by the so-called angry citizens, okay? That's the reason why they're pushing the people, to give in, to this so-called government demands, and go along with the system, so they could pacify them and then not conquer them. All right. So it says, "Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee." Yeah, so it's nothing, all these soothsayers and all these war strategists can do to deliver America, from the destruction she's about to walk into. Yeah, so it's scary, a nation so big and mighty is on the verge of being torn apart by the Lord, or being torn into pieces. And then read from the book of Obadiah. Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7 says, All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. All right. So all these alliances that America has made with all these so-called nations, all right, to try to conquer and reshape the Middle East and reshape the destiny of people upon the face of the earth, is going to cause them to be shipped over to the Middle East, to start that final war. All right. So it says, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Yeah, so it's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen. The destruction of America is on its way. It's happening before our eyes, right? To be honest with you. Then verse 8 says, Shall I not in that day, said the Lord Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mouth of Esau? Yeah, so all these so-called political pundits and all these senators and congressmen and all these think tanks, they're going to be found wanting, all right, when all hell breaks loose. Yeah, so it's going to be so chaotic on the face of the earth when World War III goes full scale, man. When it gets ballistical, it's going to be crazy, because those nuclear missiles are not trying to discriminate, man. All right, that's the reason why these so-called generals are very hesitant, or let me say very reluctant, to go to war with Iran. They want diplomacy, but the elites don't want no diplomacy. They want to tear it up, and the Lord is not coming for diplomacy. The Messiah set a trap, and America cannot move her neck out of it, okay? So, from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 25, verse 13, it says, Therefore thus said the Lord, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and I will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of the Dan shall fall by the sword. Yeah, so that's how terrible the judgment of the Lord is coming upon America, man. Because all that, pride that they always like to display in the so-called servicemen and women, all that is going down the drain, all right? Because the Lord has bigger plans, bigger plans for America. The Most High has bigger plans for the world. And the Most High also has the biggest plans for the nation of Israel, right? You so-called Negroes, you so-called Latinos, and you so-called Native Americans, man. So you just have to tighten up. And wow, it's gonna get crazy. Yeah, so don't bug out, man, when you see the prophecy of the Lord come to pass. So let me play this video real quick, man, just to give you some more vibes.
From Studio 4 in the world headquarters of RT America in our nation's capital, this is the news with Rick Sanchez. Good evening. Tonight we want to examine what would happen in a war between the United States and Iran. You see, many neocons and President Trump himself say they are confident the U.S. would win a war with Iran. The president's exact words are, quote, "It would be the end of Iran and Tehran would be obliterated." But according to a little-known study conducted by the Pentagon in 2002, referred to as the Millennium Challenge, in a war with Iran, the U.S. military would actually lose. The mission pitted the full might of the U.S. forces in the most expensive and expansive military exercise in history against the combined forces of Iran, and the result was not good for the U.S. Military exercises aside, we wondered what could happen following a military strike against Iran. The answer, say most military, diplomat, and Middle East experts, is that it could lead to an all-out conflagration in the region. So what we...
Yep, so what does that mean? Nations are going to have to align. Yes, I'm going to read Joel chapter 2, verse 20. It says, but I will remove far off from you the northern army, that's the United States military, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate. That's the Middle East, okay, the desert region. With his face towards the east sea, and his hinder part towards the utmost sea, and his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he had done great things. Yeah, so that's the judgment of the Lord, okay, upon America very soon. That's about to take place. So there is no need to be crying and feeling sad for people getting judged by the Lord, because it's judgment based on righteousness, all right? So the Lord has already set the stage, all right, for this event to take place, World War III, and a lot of people are going to be caught up in it.
What I want to do tonight is take you through those geopolitical repercussions that would occur in four major areas. Number one, a clarion call to all Shias. You see, many Shia Muslims see Iran as their spiritual home. Therefore, the first day what happen is a clarion call, if you will, to millions of Shia militias from places like Iraq and Syria and Afghanistan, where battle-hardened fighters would attack U.S. bases in those countries, while hundreds of others, perhaps thousands of Shia faithful, would join the fight in Iran proper. Let's go now to number two, sucking Israel into the fight. Syrian forces, backed by Iran, would be sent to capture the Golan Heights. That would immediately suck Israel into the war, which would then suck in Israel's neighbors as well. Lebanon, for example, there are more than 200,000 descendants of Palestinians. In Jordan, there could even be an uprising against the monarchy by 500,000 Palestinians living in Jordanian camps. Important things to consider. Number three, Iran's missile attacks. Any attack by the United States would see Iran fire missiles not at its attacker, but at targets in the Gulf region, which are with...
Yeah, and what's going to happen? The price of products and goods and services is going to go through the roof. All right, so there's going to be so much pain, man, that a lot of people will have to endure. All right. So that's how terrible it's going to be. And that's just, a little excerpt of how it's going to be. Then NATO is going to get involved, and America's going to get involved, and then Russia's going to get involved, and then you're going to have Pakistan, then you're going to have India, then you're going to have China. Oh boy. Yeah, then you're going to have Egypt, Somalia, Sudan, Ethiopia. You know, when you read the book of Ezekiel chapter 38, it tells you what you have to expect when World War III is about to hit the fan, all right? So the book of Isaiah chapter 14, Isaiah chapter 14, verse 22, for I will rise up against them, said the Lord of hosts, all right, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, said the Lord. I will make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, said the Lord of hosts. Yeah, so America's going to be a totally desolate place, man. You know, it's nothing. It's just going to be a landing zone for these wild creatures and these wild animals, man. You know, yeah, so that's how terrible America's future is, according to the will of the Lord. So that's the point that I can, you know, so much more important going on in this world than just, politics, man. So, stay awake, stay positive according to the scriptures, and hey, keep your head up. Our salvation is at hand. Shalom.